The following is a DW Ancient Egypt production. It appears a prolonged famine struck the Delta region, which may have been the cause for the weakened state of both kingdoms. It is at this time that the Hyksos began to assume control in the Delta regions. These Semitic immigrants had been steadily entering Egypt for some time, as noted in the last episode. Their history is vague due to their illiteracy, and most information about them is negative as it comes from native Egyptians who hated foreign rule. The Hyksos established the 15th dynasty and appeared to take Avaris from the 14th dynasty as their capital. Because of the Delta conditions, little remains of the temples and fortifications. The problem with tracing the Hyksos and the historical record is that only victories were recorded in ancient Egyptian chronicles. Defeats and negative press went unrecorded. They did not have the same sense of history that we do, meaning they did not record events for the sake of history, for keeping the historical record straight. Appropriately, for a people associated with the desert, they chose as their main deity the god Seth, the deity of the desert wasteland. Seth was looked upon by the Egyptians as the evil god who hacked up the good god Osiris. But for some reason, which is unclear, he is eventually worshipped by later pharaohs who consider him changed in some way. Seth was considered kind of like the devil and appropriately worshipped by these foreigners, whom the native Egyptians hated. Seth was represented by an animal called the Seth animal because there is really nothing like it. Speaking of the devil, interestingly, this animal has a forked tail. This animal has the head that looks almost like a goat with the horns like a ram going in the opposite direction, going towards its back. The body is more like a feline or canine. It's very strange that this animal is so prominent in Egyptian mythology and really how it was adopted by these Hyksos. The Hyksos also introduced their own foreign gods from their Phoenician homelands, such as the mother goddess Astarte and the storm and war god Resheph. We have no evidence of Hyksos temples to these gods. They don't seem to have integrated with the locals. However, there is evidence that they traded and associated with the Minoans in Crete. A jar with a Hyksos cartouche was discovered in the palace of Knossos on Crete. The Hyksos were not literate. Their scarabs show only scrollwork designs and very few inscriptions. There were very few Hyksos scarabs in the south, which indicates that they most likely stayed in the north. For our Bible scholars, something to really consider is that these Hyksos may have been related to the story of Joseph. Remember, Joseph was sold as a slave who eventually worked his way up to vizier based on his relationship with the Pharaoh. That story fits with this time and would only be possible with the Hyksos, since we can prove that they were Semitic immigrants, much like the biblical Hebrews. In roughly about 1650 BC, the Hyksos sacked the Egyptian capital of Memphis and removed power from the 13th dynasty. But the Hyksos still preferred to operate from the eastern Delta strongholds at Avaris. Their military success was due to their skilled archers. They also introduced the horse and chariot to warfare, giving them a huge tactical advantage. The Egyptians would utilize both of these innovations during the conquests of the New Kingdom.